toxic masculinity.
Let me find it here. Okay, so story number 6, the final story. Republican Senator representative. I just put REP. Republican Senator demands update on the investigation into bogus Kavanaugh persecution. Okay, so let's have a look at this. This is Senator Grassley, and he's coming back and revisiting the Kavanaugh thing, which I think we should do with a lot of these stories. Valeria writes, I can see a highlighted message with your name. I'm driving. She's driving, so she can't alert me to stuff. I don't know what she's saying. I'm just going to look here real quick. Yeah, there's a lot of messages with toxic masculinity on it, but I'm not going to read all those because I got to do the news, guys. I'm almost done. Let's see here. All right, Senator Grassley calls on DOJ and FBI to give updates on criminal investigations into Justice Kavanaugh's false accusers. I love this. The reason I love this is because we don't seem to hold the left accountable for anything. The left holds us accountable for things we don't even do wrong. Like, the left will lie about something about Republicans, and then they'll produce some kind of, like, multi-million-dollar investigation to try to get us into trouble. They'll use the pretense of whatever it is that they've accused us of to investigate us, right? They did this with Trump a bunch. So they'd say, like, Trump did this bad thing. We need to start an investigation. Obviously, Trump didn't do that bad thing, but they used the pretense of that bad thing that they've accused him of to go look for more dirt and to try to get Trump out of office. They would do that all the time. That's a little trick of theirs. We don't even go after the left for things that they actually do wrong. We just let them get away with everything. It's crazy. But Grassley, in this case, is not. So let's go ahead and read some of this story. I love this story. 2.5 years ago, a leading Republican on the Senate Judiciary Committee referred attorney Michael Avenatti and his client Julie Swetnick to the Department of Justice for a potential criminal investigation into their false sexual misconduct claims about Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. And that was a very clear case of a false accusation. Now that Republican wants the DOJ and FBI to provide an update on the status of the investigation. Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, wrote a letter to the DOJ and the FBI this week seeking an update on any criminal investigations into the bogus allegations made to Congress about Kavanaugh when he was a nominee to the Supreme Court. On October 8th, 2019, several colleagues and I wrote a letter to Attorney General William Barr and Director Christopher Wray requesting an update concerning their handling of criminal referrals made by the committee following its investigation into allegations of decades-old misconduct by the then-Judge Brett Kavanaugh, Grassley reminded federal investigators. To date, the Justice Department and FBI have failed to respond to our letter. And again, this was in 2019 they wrote this letter, October 2019, that's over a year ago. To date, the Justice Department and FBI have failed to respond to our letter and have failed to apprise the committee whether and to what extent any steps have been taken to investigate and hold accountable those individuals who criminally interfered with the committee's investigation, he wrote. These failures are entirely unacceptable because the FBI works for the Democrats, or they work with the Democrats, one or the other. The Democrats might work for the FBI. I'm not sure. Either way, they work hand in hand, and they are against conservatives. So they're willing to go after conservatives. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Swetnick thing was like set up by the FBI. I mean, that's obviously like a wild speculation, but you never know because, these people are unscrupulous. President Donald Trump nominated Kavanaugh in 2018 to fill the Supreme Court vacancy left by retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. Before his confirmation, uncorroborated and unconfirmed accusations of sexual misconduct were made against Kavanaugh by Christine Blasey Ford. Do you remember her? What a liar. Anyway, from the time when they were both teenagers. I mean, what a weird... Do you remember that accusation? Not to go on too much of a tangent here, but Christine Blasey Ford, if you remember, she accused Brett Kavanaugh of when he was a kid pushing her on a bed and then wrestling around with his friend. And she thought that she was going to get raped, and then she ran off. And then many, many years later, she said, well, I thought I was going to get raped, even though there was no indication whatsoever that would happen. And therefore, Brett Kavanaugh shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice. And it was like, I remember when I was a kid, you would push your brothers on a couch or, you roughhouse a little bit, right? If there's a bed, that's a soft place. So if you're going to push somebody, good place to push them is on a bed, right? So it could very well be that he was just roughhousing, if it was even him. He doesn't remember doing anything like that. It could have been some other random kid, and for whatever reason, she thought it was Brett Kavanaugh. She wasn't clear. Like, it wasn't clear to her that it was Brett Kavanaugh. She says that it was, but the whole thing is just absolute BS. Like, some guy pushed me on a bed once, and I think it was Brett Kavanaugh, and so he shouldn't be the. Like, what the? It wasn't even a rape accusation. It was an accusation that he did something that made her think maybe he might rape her. It was the stupidest accusation in the history of accusations, and the Democrats all took it so seriously. Believe her. Believe all women. Believe all women. Give me a freaking break. Believe all women when they say that this guy did something that made me think maybe he might rape me when he was 14. Come on. God, that was such a stupid case. All right. The Democrats are just, again, unscrupulous. Following Ford, others came forward to level false allegations against Kavanaugh, including Swetnick and our attorney Avenatti. Grassley, the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, sent 4 criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, claiming Swetnick and Avenatti made materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statements to committee investigators. For example, what's weird about that? If at any time they suspect that a conservative or a Republican has said anything that they can twist into something that they say is deceptive, then they will accuse a conservative of lying. What's that called? Anyway, they'll accuse the conservative of lying, and they'll put him in prison. I mean, Democrats are crazy. You cannot let Democrats have an inch, because they will take 20 miles. I mean, Democrats are nuts. We have to start fighting a lot more, a lot more fiercely, I think, in the court system, everywhere. It's ridiculous. All right, let's see here. So, for example, one of the referrals related to the individual from Rhode Island who falsely alleged to Congress that Judge Kavanaugh had assaulted a friend on a boat, only to later admit on social media that he lied about the event. 2 referrals related to allegations made by Mr. Michael Avenatti and his client, Miss Julie Swetnick, who accused Judge Kavanaugh of being involved in gang rape activities. Jeez, I remember that, in college, right? Grassley wrote in his letter. The committee identified no verifiable evidence to support the allegations. The committee found that Mr. Avenatti, who has since been convicted on felony extortion charges, yeah, real great guy there, and his client, Miss Swetnick, had a long history of credibility issues and may have criminally conspired to mislead the committee regarding those allegations and obstruct its investigation, he continued. A final referral related to Miss Judy Monroe Layton, a woman who claimed to be the author of an anonymous letter stating that Judge Kavanaugh and a friend raped her several times each in the backseat of a car. Miss Monroe Layton later admitted that she falsely claimed that she was the author of the letter and its allegations, and only claimed authorship of the letter as a way to grab attention. See, the other reason that we need to aggressively go after these people is that it'll keep happening, right? These kind of false accusations will keep happening unless these people are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And this is a very serious problem, right? If the Democrats are using this as a strategy, right? Anytime a Republican is nominated for anything or is trying to get elected for something or whatever, these people are coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, they raped me. I mean, this happened to Trump all the time, right? If this becomes a strategy of the left and there's no punishment for it, then they will very easily be able to get people to do it who just want attention or just want to sell a book or something like that. Speaking of selling books, I should write a book. I'm thinking about writing 2 books, actually. But anyway, moving on. These false allegations materially impeded the committee's work and diverted important committee resources during its time-sensitive investigation, Grassley said. At the time, Grassley ordered full investigations of each allegation made against Kavanaugh. He said neither congressional investigators nor FBI background checks were able to uncover evidence of outlandish and slanderous claims. He also said those who made false statements to Congress must be held responsible for their criminal behavior. Accordingly, I ask that you provide a response to the question posed in the October 8th, 2019 letter, no later than April 6, 2021. Your response should include a full explanation of the steps the Justice Department and FBI have taken to investigate the committee's 4 criminal referrals for investigation of potential violations of 18 U.S.C. 1001, materially false statements, 1505 obstruction, and 371 conspiracy. If no actions have been taken in response to those referrals, please explain why not, Grassley concluded. I love that guy. That's awesome. I hope things start to work out. I love that they're holding them to the fire. I love all of that. Anyway, so that is it for the news. I would love to take your questions and your comments. Well, we got a little super chat here from Frank James, where he's just provided me with a cat emoji. And he's also written, when I'm running the country, politicians will get an apartment in the capital, each enough food to live, clothing to represent the country in a respectful manner, and a bus pass. Look, I don't think that congressmen should be paid very little. I think they should be paid a significant amount of money. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.